we need someone else to sharpen us. So we will go later on and see why we want to be sharpened. And me, for example, I like knives, especially knives that are useful in trekking, in hiking, because I have one experience. If you would let me share, we climb Mount Apo. I brought two knives. Actually, parang bolo na siya. Hindi ko nadala yung na-sharpen ko.
Ay.
Ang nadala ko yung hindi ko na-sharpen.
Ang purul.
Yung walang lalagyan. Yung pangit yung handle.
Oh, no.
So I was struggling kasi when you go to Mount Apo, you need like some branches or ano. Alam mo ba yung bugang? Tinatawag na bugang. It's like kugon na malalaki.
Yeah.
So that's what we use to lay on the ground para hindi magsip in yung lamig before you put on the tent. So imagine having that kind of bolo na hindi prepared for the task. So dito natin ma-appreciate why we need to be sharpened. Because to be sharpened means that you are ready for life. You are prepared to be useful. Kasi alam natin God is using us eh. So if you are not sharpened, then how can God use you kung para kang bolo na mapurol? Siguro magagamit ka naman pero hindi ganun kaganda yung quality. Kasi puputol ka ng kahoy. Kung mapurol siya, mabibiyak, hindi siya tamang sukat. So you are exerting effort beyond what is necessary. And then if you are sharpened, you become helpful and productive in the society.
Right.
So ito nakita natin that just as iron sharpens iron, so we sharpen others with our lives. Hindi natin yan napapansin, pero nangyayari yan. We sharpen others. For example, what we are doing here. Yung mga nakikinig, baka may narinig sila na ngayon pa lang nila na-realize, ganun pala yun.
Right.
So without us, without you, without other people, we are not sharpened. For example, ako being a pastor, I'm honest enough to tell other pastors that I read other pastor sermon.
Yes.
Kasi I'm learning from them. Hindi ko lang naman kinukopya lahat. Iba naman yung magpipreach ka na kinopya mo verbatimly na sasabihin mo, last Sunday I was in Alaska. Dito lang tayo sa Pilipinas. Pwede pa siguro dumaan ka ng Colorado sa Digos. Pwede pa yon kasi may Colorado sa Digos.
Oregon sa Davao Oriental.
So pwede
New
pa siguro.
York, Cubao.
But learning from others is one way of sharpening yourself. Di ba? Wag lang naman tayo maging too dogmatic in whatever we learn from them. Just learn. Yeah, di ba? So, it prepares us. And as you are being prepared, you are suit for that purpose, ikaw mismo magiging masaya ka. That's why some people are not happy where they are because they are not being sharpened. Instead na isa-sharpen sila, para silang binubukbok. No? They are being pounded by something na imbis na mag-grow sila as an individual, become useful and productive, hindi natuloy. That's why even in any areas, whether it's a relationship, boy and girl, in the company, even in the church. If you are in a place that you are not being sharpened, then you are in the wrong place. Kasi how can God use you kung mapurol yung skills mo, character mo? Even our character are being sharpened by others.
Yes.
Yeah? I remember before when I was still very immature and I would accept that I was once and still is, no? Hindi pa naman tayo ganun ka-mature, we are not yet perfect. But there was one time na kapag may confrontation, I would walk out. Lalabas ako ng room kasi hindi ko kaya i-handle yung confrontation. But when you are being confronted with people in the right way, you are being sharpened. Ganito pala mag-confront. Di ba? Hindi yung palakasan ng tingog, pabagsakan ng table, no? So you now know.
Tapunan ng mga bagay.
Not to mention yung iba, may mga lumalabas pa na huwag na lang natin i-mention.
Sampalan.
But that's inside the context of the church. So if you are not being sharpened, you are not contributing. So that's why it's important that we sharpen each other. So one way of sharpening is may mentor tayo. At mayroon tayong mini-mentee. Kasi hindi naman pwede na tayo lang yung receive ng receive. May impacho tayo. We also need to share that with others. So, what does it mean to be sharpened? There should be intentionality. Dapat intentional, di ba? Kasi without that intentionality, mawawala yung purpose bakit mo sinasharpen yung sarili mo. Kasi when we think about iron sharpens another iron, ang ini-imagine natin is yung parang sa chef knife na ginaganyan or dalawang knives na ginaganyan. Pero meron din palang isang element na when you sharpen another iron, yung context ba na ginagawa mo pa yung knife? Yun nakita kong mas mahirap kasi you are dealing with a raw material, shaping it into a knife, then sharpening it. Then marami pala sa atin ganun. We are not yet knives. We are still a raw material na iniinit dun sa baga, pinupukpok ng maso, pinuform into a knife, then eventually pinapolish. So, don't be discouraged if you are going through such difficult time kasi inaano ka pa ni Lord, no? Your partner is not yet another knife but hammer. Pinupukpok ka to be sharpened, hindi para maging mapurol. And I believe ito yung tinatawag nating influence. No? When you are being influenced and you are being sharpened through that person's influence, you are being honed into or formed into the pattern. Hindi naman image kasi yung image natin is Christ, right?
Yes.
Sharpening is not only about skills, it's not only about abilities, it also means life. When you sharpen one person, you sharpen them that their lives will become useful and potential for greater purposes for the glory of God. And even in the church, kaya nga siguro sinabi ni Paul yung sabi niya na bad company corrupts good character. I think it's in the context of the Corinthian church. Kasi may mga tao doon, I believe, who are taking lead but are bad company. And we should be discerning of that. And a person cannot be discerning if they are not sharpened. Kasi discernment is also sharpening of our wisdom, which comes from the Spirit. So the more you are with the Spirit, no, which means that yung sharpening natin skills, which means sa physical, mental, and also spiritual. No, so ito din ang na-realize ko about influencing ba. Kasi marami sa atin, we have disciples. Of course, they are God's disciples, but we are instrument of discipling.
Yes.
Minsan nahihirapan ako maghanap ng term kung ano tayo. Kasi, or ano sila natin, yung tinitrain natin. But anyway, na-realize ko na sometimes we are not aware that we are already influencing them in the wrong way. Yun ang hindi natin nababantayan minsan. Because influence that sharpens should be done in the right way. Katulad ng labaha kanina. May certain angle. No? Na-realize ko sabi ko, meron palang certain angle to sharpen a knife. Kaya meron na silang tools ngayon na very accurate. No? I don't know how point millimeter yung accuracy niya na pag ganyan mo, yung angle talaga that can cut paper. Kahit gaano pa kakapal yung steel, it can cut paper because of the right angle. So if our influence is not in the right way, then we are destroying instead of sharpening another person.
Right.
So ito yung advantage when you listen to other preachers. I think it was Paul Washer who said that the one thing that he fears the most, or the calling that he is so terrified to think about, is being a pastor. Kasi you are the one influencing maybe thousands. And become an instrument to sharpen others. Kung ayaw nila makinig sa atin, wala tayong magagawa. But let us be there to be an example, to be an influence, and to do it in the right manner. Why? Because that's how we sharpen another person. So my question here is this: who sharpens you? Meron ba? Second is, who are you sharpening? So I will leave you with that, no? Kasi that's our intention for today, to be sharpened by another, just like what the Bible tells us to do.